Hello, good evening. Welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live on news up here at Desawe Kanda, also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale. We're live on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. Coming up this evening, a National Democratic Congress NDC minority demands probe into the dam spillage by the Volta River Authority, leading to devastation of communities in the lower Volta Basin. We'll give you details of that shortly. They also want all displaced persons temporarily relocated to the Sagleme housing site. Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for the North Tongue constituency, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, is leading the charge to relocate some 12,000 victims. We'll tell you more about it shortly. And defunct gold dealership Men's Gold reportedly hands 5 million cedis in cash to the police CID department as part of the refund for customers. We'll tell you why they decided not to pay directly into the investor's account. They stay with us here on Hot Edition. Also, a case of persecution or the law taking its due course in the ongoing ambulance trial against Minority Leader Dr. Kesela Tofosin. The Speaker, Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagwin, believes the government is targeting the NDC MP. Stay with us here on Hot Edition. We have that plus the latest in business, sports and entertainment coming up for the next 60 minutes. I am Alfred Ocansey. Welcome. Let's get into the details now. So we're learning now the minority in Parliament says it will call for a probe into the conduct of the Volta River Authority relating to the spillage from the Akonsombo and Kpong dams. Now, accusing the Volta River Authority of recklessness, the NDC MPs say the power generator could have gone about the spillage in a controlled manner to reduce its impact on communities along the spillways. Several communities across 11 districts have been affected by the spillage, with thousands of residents displaced, presenting some relief items on behalf of the NDC 2024 flag bearer John Dramani Mahama in the Tong area. The chairman of the NDC, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, said the VRA has questions to answer. We'll hear shortly from Johnson Esiedun Ketia on the matters arising and the issues that they've been talking about here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. But Minority Leader Kesela Tofosin says the minority in Parliament will demand investigations into the incident. He also called on government to temporarily relocate displaced persons to the Sagleme housing project. Stay with us. We'll get you shortly what the minority has been talking about, especially related to the spillage of the excess water from the Akonsombo and the Kpong dams. But while we're at it, we'll shortly be connecting with the Member of Parliament for the Northern Constituency, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, and also hear from exactly what the situation is happening now. But some concerns being raised about what is happening in the Mepe community, and Dr. Kojo is joining us on the telephone. In fact, we just lost him now, but the Deputy Director of Health that's in the Volta region, Dr. Kojo Jokoto, is also been speaking about this. He's indicated that what they are doing is to ensure that the situation does not spread further.
Amidst the displacement, the Health Directorate at Mepe is detecting signs of a looming outbreak. As emergency shelters swell with people, diseases like fungal skin infections, diarrhea, and bilharzia are being recorded, particularly among children.
As I squat here on the ground, where not just the elements, but waterborne diseases threaten the lives of those that have been displaced here at the RC Basic School in Mepe. Reports of bilharzia, diarrhea are sweeping throughout these communities, and just the stench coming from here is unimaginable.
A displaced resident, Nanama, says all three of her kids have had some form of ailment after relocating.
His stomach hurts and he's gotten rashes on his head. I haven't been able to send him to the hospital. His genital area also itches.
She's not the only one. Ikuya Adika complains of itchy skin following her displacement.
My body has been itching and I have body pains, and so I've come for medicine from the doctors.
The emergency shelters are a melting pot of vulnerability. With a large number of people in close proximity, the risk of disease spreading is undeniable. Fungal infections, waterborne diseases are already taking their toll. Dr. Edun Tiamwa is a volunteer at the Mepe Basic School providing treatment for the affected.
The commonest thing that we found is skin eruptions. We've had children with fungal infections in their head, on their skin. We have people with scabies as well. And then we have most of the elderly also reporting with hypertension, some of which are saying they have never been diagnosed of hypertension before.
Health professionals here are also worried about respiratory tract infections, which are highly contagious. The urgency of this situation cannot be overstated. The importance of adhering to health protocols, hand washing, and maintaining personal hygiene, especially now following the flooding, cannot be emphasized enough. It remains to be seen how this looming health crisis unfolds at Mepe. Emmanuel Samani, TV3 News, Mepe, in the Volta region.
So that's what's happening in the Mepe community. A rather worrying situation, to say the least. Let's hear from the chair of the NDC, Johnson Isidun Ketia, who earlier today presented some relief items on behalf of the flag bearer of the NDC, John Mahama, to the victims of this flooding situation.
We are not here to take over the responsibilities of the government of the Republic of Ghana towards victims of any disaster. We still would urge the government to do the needful to any Ghanaians who have suffered from any disaster, be it natural or man-made. We believe that a friend in need is a friend indeed. So even if we didn't have anything at all, the fact that we get closer to our friends who are in trouble is very significant. We are also using this platform to call on government and the rest of Ghanaians that anything that the government of Ghana or the state of Ghana for that matter will be spending on this flood situation should not be seen as favoring or doing something to favor the affected communities.
So the NDC, amongst others, indicated that they are going to demand some answers from the Volta River Authority. They've served that notice of demanding the answers from government and the VRA over what they say is a poor handling of the spillage from the Akonsombo Dam and the resultant flooding in parts of the Volta and adjoining regions. Samuel Okujeto Blakwa is a member of parliament for the North Tongue constituency, and his constituency is the heaviest hit when it comes to the impact of this spillage, the North Tongue constituency, and he's taking some time off all of what he's doing to help the constituents to speak to us. Thank you so much for time on Hot Edition on some of the Okujeto Blakwa. So this is a position you align with, that the VRA and by extension government will have to answer some questions about how this spillage was done?
Most definitely. Good evening to all your listeners. It is important to emphasize that this level of devastation, this level of humanitarian crisis that has been created, houses lost, properties destroyed, livelihoods damaged. There's no schooling going on now. We now have a public health emergency on our heads. This whole chaos, this catastrophe, is a result of negligence on the part of the Volta River Authority. The Volta River Authority, if they had done their work well, should not have spilled in the manner they did. If they were taking their warnings, the meteorological forecast seriously, they should have done this gradually, not waiting to the last minute, because we all know that the water levels don't just rise in a second. And they waited for the levels to be so high, and then they just gushed out the water. And I mean, as though they were on a mission to commit mass murder. You have a situation where even when they decided to open their valves and discharge the water, they didn't engage community leaders. As I speak to you as a member of parliament, nobody engaged me from the VRA. Can you believe that? Nobody, not a phone call, not a letter, no conversation that we are going to open the valve. Even just give us even 10-minute notice. We have local radios, we have public information centers. We'll at least inform our people immediately, and as many who hear the news will move, evacuate, have their precious items saved. They didn't do that. So the negligence is on a number of fronts. Waiting to the last hour to spill in a manner as though you want to commit mass murder. And then even after you have been so negligent and you wait to the last hour and you are about to spill, you don't even tell us. So we evacuate. All they did was to issue a statement on September 12 and said they are going to do control spilling, so people should be on the alert. What is the meaning of that? You're going to do control spilling. You are the only ones who knew that this was going to be a spilling like no other, a discharge in an unprecedented manner. Large volumes of water going to be discharged, and you knew the havoc that it will cause, and you didn't. You did not inform us. And as we speak, the VRA is not telling us what their plans are for resettlement. They are not telling us what they have done for compensation. How are they going to compensate people who have lost everything? I mean, just put yourself in the shoes of my people. Just in a second, and you've lost everything you've ever worked for. Your entire home, all your valuables, your savings, money under your bed, your jewelry, your gadgets, everything. Cars in your house, your shops, your farm, your fish pond, everything. Gone. I mean, look, no wonder the Ghana Medical Association team here with us, they have told us that they need to do more psychological therapy because so many people are moving into depression. They are so traumatized. And look, there is absolutely no way people at VRA are going to get away with this. That is why our draft motion is ready. When the House resumes, we'll file that motion. We will demand a full-blown parliamentary inquiry. It must be public. It will be telecast live. The whole world should know. All those officials who engage in this negligence, we want to see them. We want to know what will happen to them. And then after that, we demand full compensation. People shouldn't think that they are going to destroy people's lives, destroy people's livelihoods, and they'll get away with it. Elsewhere, VRA CEOs will have resigned. Elsewhere, other jurisdictions, those who engage in this reckless conduct, this negligence, as though they were on a mission to commit mass murder, they will have resigned. Some of them will have been prosecuted. They will have been jailed. Elsewhere, in other jurisdictions where people take their leadership positions seriously. But we will get there. Nobody will be allowed to get away. And as for that, Alfred, look, all the ordeal we are going through, all the trauma we are going through, it will come to vain if we do not ensure that, because to me, even more importantly, is the institutional reforms that must take place, the lessons that must be learned, so that this does not recur.
And that's a very, very important point that you make, that so far there hasn't been any talk about compensation for the victims of this spillage. All we're hearing is some relief items and then also some interventions by the VRA. So the compensation angle, how do you intend to push it, especially because this is not being talked about as we speak?
Yes, it's not being talked about at all, and that's what makes us really upset. We are livid that you destroy so many people's lives and nobody is even giving assurances. At least that assurance will help to heal the people in the camps putting up in very ramshackle schools built for day education. They are not boarding houses, and yet suddenly they are converted to residential accommodation. No washrooms, no places of convenience. I mean, just imagine. I mean, you have your own home, your comfort zone, what you have built over the years. Then suddenly you are cramped in a classroom. In a classroom. And that's where you must be day and night. And nobody is telling them that, look, we are at least taking inventory, we are collating data, we are going to make sure that your valuables that have been lost are replaced. So we will have that conversation. No matter how uncomfortable some people will feel, we must have that conversation because their discomfort can nowhere rival the trauma that they have put people through, the distraction that they put people through. Look, it is a miracle that people didn't die, and I always credit the youth, young people who volunteered, refused to sleep day and night, carrying the vulnerable, the aged, children onto higher ground, moving them from harm's way. It is just our community spirit. There was no VRA official here, no NADMO here. It was as if VRA was on a mission to commit mass murder. So we will demand that compensation. And I can confirm to you, Alfred, that we have already put our lawyers on standby. Our lawyers have told us that we should gather enough evidence as possible, make sure that all those whose properties have been destroyed, we document them. And we are doing that. We have the before and after pictures. We have the house numbers, the houses that are collapsing. We have, fortunately, some of them are collapsing right before our very eyes. So we have video footage. We are putting the evidence together. And if the VRA and the government does not assure that there's going to be compensation, we will go to court. We'll demand class action, no matter how long it will take. This current group of leaders will not be in power forever. And the kind of systems they think they've put in place, having a stranglehold and thinking that they can have their way, is not going to continue forever. People will be compensated. My people will not be treated. Look, they have already offered their land for Akosombo Dam to be built, for the Pond Dam to be built. My people in Fujoku, in Togoma, Joapon, Abuetia, were relocated. That was the first hit that they took. Every now and then there is spillage. You know, they have had to bear the price. Their economic livelihoods have changed. And they didn't even get any reward. Most of them have not even been compensated. The VRA still has them on the list of outstanding compensation. Then you have a situation where their livelihoods were altered permanently. And they don't even have incentives. We pay light bills like anybody. You know, so what a price to pay, and the lack of, you know, reward, the lack of appreciation for sacrifices my people have made so that the lights will be on, so that we will all be comfortable in our homes, so we will have lights to industrialize our country and transform our society. The electricity that we are all enjoying, it is the price that these communities have had to pay. And see how some people talk as if, you know, some group of people are a nuisance or second-class citizens and all of that. They forget elsewhere, if it was other jurisdictions, for these sacrifices, there will be tremendous compensation. There will be certain privileges. There will be certain rights, you know, so that it will even motivate other communities to always, you know, take one for the collective, take one for the team.
And talk about the efforts that you private citizens are making, and for you as a member of parliament, we understand some 12,000 constituents of yours are going to benefit from an intervention not by the VRA or by government, but your collaboration with the private citizens. What exactly is this?
Yes, I'm happy to confirm to you that the First Sky Group is collaborating with us. They have a subsidiary called Construction Ambassadors, and they will be constructing housing so that we can relocate my constituents who are congested, struggling, suffocating in classroom blocks. Our contribution is to offer land for free and to also put an army of young people together who will offer communal labor. And these buildings will be constructed in record time, under a month. We are hoping that it will become a model for the nation to adopt in times of emergencies. More importantly, Alfred, there are three advantages that I must emphasize. One, we will begin to restore the dignity of my people. Nobody deserves to be living in the way my people are living. I can't sleep every night. I just weep. I mean, people just on the bench, a bench for a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, and that's what they must sleep on. No mattresses. Having ramshackled classrooms. So dignity will be restored. At least they can have decent washrooms, to attend nature's call. Then number two, it is important to emphasize that as we speak, education has been disrupted. There is no schooling going on. Many people don't realize that. All the 21 camps that we have are in classrooms. So that means that children have been dislodged from going to school. So if we're able to relocate them, then the children can return to school. Mind you, these children are going to sit for the same BEC, sit for the same WASI. So, no, the academic calendar has not been suspended nationally because of affected districts, thanks to the VRA-induced disaster. So there's a lot of catching up to do, and the earlier we free these schools for the children to go back to school, the better. And then number three, the advantage with this intervention is that it's going to help us address the public health crisis. Doctors are warning already there are cases of cholera, typhoid. My people in these shelters are living under unhygienic conditions, and there's a looming public health emergency because of that. All of these, negative and inimical tendencies will be dealt with this intervention. And I want to commend the First Sky Group for this partnership. And I can confirm to you that construction has started already. Workers are on site. I cut the sod yesterday, and we are determined to finish this very quickly. And we'll invite you to the commissioning, Alfred, so that probably we'll let you empty the commissioning so that you can be part of this success story.
Indeed. And I thank you very much for connecting with us. And then we'll keep an eye on what's happening in the community as well. Grateful for your time. Thank you.
Very much.
That's Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa is Member of Parliament for the North Tongue constituency. But the Minority Leader, Dr. Kesla Tuforsen, says the minority in Parliament will demand investigation into the incident. He also called on government to temporarily relocate displaced persons to the Saglemi housing project.
We are disappointed in the Volta River Authority. We believe that their conduct has not been good enough. They have not engaged the communities, and we in the NDC, particularly in Parliament, will investigate this matter. We urge the Energy Committee from our side to start the processes of instituting a probe into this matter immediately. Aside this, we also believe that the VRA, the Volta River Authority, has not been proactive. After causing this man-made disaster, their donation is coming in trickles. A strong institution as Volta River Authority should have done better than what they are doing. And we urge them to also start as soon as we have Sagleme sitting idle. The government must ensure that they house the people of these 11 affected constituencies properly. We are suggesting that as a matter of urgency, they can relocate them temporarily to Sagleme housing project.
Oh, so that's Minority Leader Dr. Kesela Tuforsen there. Let's stay a bit further with him because the Speaker of Parliament, Abansumana Kinsobagwen, is saying the ongoing prosecution of the Minority Leader Dr. Kesela Tuforsen in the ambulance trial, in his view, reeks of persecution rather than an effort to punish wrongdoing. The case against the minority leader continues to take different twists and turns, with the former finance minister Setekpe testifying as a witness in the ongoing case. According to the speaker, the approach of prosecutors comes off as though they are in a gamble with the evidence available to them. He spoke when he paid a visit to the family of the late former majority leader in parliament, Felix Kwesi Owusu Ejapong, to commiserate with them.
The majority leader indicated to me that he had to come ahead and he had some challenges to attend to in Kumasi. So he will not be available. You know, the minority leader, unfortunately, and I keep on saying this, is being, to use the word I use, persecuted. So on a number of these occasions, he cannot be with us because he's appearing in court. As at now, he's in court being tried. It's not that we don't want the rule of law to apply. We all want it to apply. But where prosecution is just a gamble, I may win or I may not win, but let me do it. I will not prescribe that for any politician. Because as a leader, you always have to take the risk. You could get it right, you could get it catastrophically wrong. Could you be prosecuted because of that? Then there will be trepidation. Nobody will have the courage to come out boldly and take decisions when things are really hard. And these are some of the things we have to take on board as we continue to work together in Ghana. It happens all over the world. It's not only Ghana. These things happen, and you can go to US, UK, whatever, and they don't go into prosecution. You know, there are other ways of handling these things. So he has been absent. You know, the day we were going to President Kufuor's place, the same thing, he was in court. Today too, he's in court. So we'll be here, we'll be at E.T.'s place. He has to do it later on. These things, I think we should. It's important I mention them as we do this because the media coverage will support us.
That's the Speaker of Parliament there, Abansumana Kinsobagwen. It's live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, also on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. And while we are at it and what's happening in the as a result of the spillage of the excess water from the Akonsombo Dam, the minority leader has also been talking when the minority group in Parliament also called on the persons who have been displaced. Kesela Tuforsen has implored on President Kufuor to apologize to flood victims from the Akonsombo Dam spillage, and also acknowledged that he erred in telling them that they do not vote for his party, the NPP. Now, for him, the president's comments when he visited the flooded areas last Monday was in bad taste, hence the need for President Kufuor to apologize to the flood victims of the Akonsombo Dam spillage. Defiance Gold Dealership, that's Men's Gold, this afternoon, receiving reports that they handed over a cash sum of 5 million Ghana cedis to the Police Criminal Investigations Department, the CID, for the distribution to customers of Men's Gold. Now, the money is described as part payment of customers' locked up funds. Now, our sources close to the CID say the decision to deposit the amount with the CID for onward distribution or disbursement is intended, we understand, to engender confidence in the company's willingness to refund monies to verified customers. The Attorney General, Godfrey Yeboah-Dame, last month slapped the Chief Executive Officer of Men's Gold, Nana Pia Mensah, popularly known as NAM1, with 39 charges, including money laundering and fraudulent breach of trust after thousands of customers accuse him of defrauding them. The AG's assessment indicated Nam1 had defrauded customers to the tune of 1.6 billion cedis. Now, the Securities and Exchange Commission in 2018 shut down the company for operating without license. Fred Forson is one of the leaders of the aggrieved Men's Gold customers. He's joining us on the telephone. Fred, have you also heard of this deposit of some 5 million cedis by the Men's Gold to the CID?
I heard of the news from the media this morning, and we did some check. We ran some check on it at the CID office. But our information is that he deposited 2.5 million Ghana cedis.
2.5 million cedis.
Get the full confirmation and the details or the purpose for that money at the CID office. Yeah.
So what you've received is that he deposited 2.5 million cedis.
That's the information that we heard from the source there.
Okay, so that is half of what we have received, because we got information it was 5 million cedis. But so beyond this, after this information, what then, as leadership of the aggrieved Men's Gold customers, what are you going to do?
That's why we are waiting for the briefing from the CID. Hopefully by Monday, we shall get to know the purpose of this money and what it's meant to do. But it's good, at least he has come out from his hole. He has now deposited money with a neutral body. It's not like the bedroom payment that he was doing, and he would flash on us with some figures that one cannot verify. So when we are given the brief by Monday, we would know the purpose of that money. Now that the matter is before the High Court, and I'm sure when we hear from there, we shall take it from there.
The payment, we understand, is to be made to verified customers. What does that mean?
I don't even know what the meaning of verified customers. And I don't know who did the verification.
So is this something that you're going to ask questions of?
This gentleman and his company, I don't know whether they have professionals who are advising them. Alfred, you are in Ghana here. All the banks that collapsed, did you ever hear them that they have carried out a verification exercise without any professional body doing it? So it's good. You have deposited money. That one is good. We'll take it from there. But as to verify customers and stuff like that, I don't know where he's getting that from.
No. I mean, verification means verification. Was there any process? Is there any process? I just want to find out, Mr. Forson, was there any process to, as it were, verify those who said Men's Gold owes them?
He collected our documents way back in 2019. After that, he brought a payment schedule. That one collapsed. And I'm raising the point that verification and validation is a legal process. It is not a dubious or as a common one that he thinks. That's the point I want to raise. Actually, we never wanted to waste our energy on his so-called verification and validation because we thought that there was no point in it. But now that the issue has come to the fore, we want to draw his attention that verification and validation is a legal process. And he couldn't have stayed in his bedroom or his kitchen to come out with what we so-called a verification process. So it's a sham. The most important thing is the money that we want. Now the money is deposited in the FSU. That is a good news. He should bring more.
Well, but what are you going to do as a leader to, as it were, seek the interest of your members who may not also have been verified, but they still have some information? I mean, they are owed by Men's Gold, for that matter.
the best of our knowledge, no customer has been verified. And no customer is disqualified to be paid. I'm repeating. No customer has been verified. And no customer is disqualified to be paid. Every customer is entitled to pay for her money. That's what we know. And when we get to that bridge, we shall cross it. You should bring in more money. Our money is clean. You should bring it. We have information that actually sold an asset. We are watching and monitoring the payments and how money shall be withdrawn from different banks. At the right time, we shall come up.
Well, thank you very much. Fred Forson is the leader of the aggrieved men's gold customers talking to us there. Let's go to the Ashanti region because as heavy security has been deployed and that's at Adabraka and Pankrono communities in the Ashanti region to avert possible reprisal attacks. Now, one person is dead in a communal conflict between two youth groups in the town. Ibrahim Abubakar reports families of the deceased are demanding the arrest and prosecution of the persons involved in the killing.
Violence among youth groups in Adabraka and Pankrono has become a common occurrence. Lives are consistently lost and properties destroyed. The latest incident on Wednesday was triggered after one Owusu Banahene was fatally stabbed whilst on his way to attend nature's call at a public toilet in Pankrono.
It was around 4 p.m. in the evening, and we were all around. We just heard a call that we should come to Tafo Government Hospital, that our brother has been stabbed. So we all went there, and that's where we found the body. By the time we reached there, he was already gone.
This is the exact spot where Owusu Banahene was ambushed by his assailant and stabbed to death. The youth in this area are boiling with anger, and they want the police to, as a matter of urgency, arrest all the perpetrators involved and prosecute them. On Thursday, Pankrono youth attacked Adabraka, but police intervened promptly to prevent the clash from escalating. 2 persons are currently in the custody of the police to assist with investigations. The deceased family emphasized that peace cannot be achieved without justice.
Since I came to Pankrono, or since I stayed here, it has been going on. Pankrono and Adabraka, Pankrono and Tafo, it has been going on. But if you call the police, if something happens, you call the police will arrest the person. The next minute, the person is walking among us. We are expecting the police to do the investigation on it, or else the guys will retaliate, not us.
The violent altercation has caused widespread fear among the residents.
Pankrono for gang, and I for so Adabraka for so modie.
Both communities have a youth gang. The killing and subsequent reprisal attacks have scared us. We are just hoping things would be resolved soonest. A police station in this community will at least reduce these kinds of incidents.
Say, yet be a police station, no so the fear beba to boys in the swama, Sanya Maneman or Ombeja.
Residents anticipate that authorities will deliberate on a path to achieving lasting peace in the area. The police are currently steadfast in their effort to uphold law and order by preventing any potential retaliatory attacks. Ibrahim Abubakar, Pankrono, Ashanti region.
This is Ibrahim Abubakar there. This is a developing story that we're following quite closely. We'll be updating you here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamil and beyond. We're also on W93.5 in one beyond. Some sad news we received earlier today. Prominent lawyer Akoto Ampao, who represented President Akufo-Addo in the 2020 election petition, is reportedly dead. That's, sources say he died in the early hours of today at the University of Ghana Medical Center. According to available information, the lawyer has not been well since the beginning of 2023. The bereaved family is expected to issue a press statement later. According to our sources, the late lawyer Akoto Ampao is one of the people who criticized the Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill. He insisted at the time that the bill seeks to needlessly criminalize sympathy and support for the LGBTQ plus community in Ghana. Mr. Akoto Ampao further alluded to the fact that the bill also places an unhealthy tag on citizens who may not want to engage in discussions on LGBTQ plus, popularly known as Cheche, right from his student days at the University of Ghana. Now, Akoto Ampao was part of the New Patriotic Party legal team in the electoral petition of 2013. His remarkable legal career was further underscored by his involvement in the New Patriotic Party's legal team during the 2020 electoral petition. Beyond his extensive legal expertise, Mr. Ampao was a valued partner at Akufo-Addo, Prempeh & Co., the esteemed law firm associated with President Akufo-Addo. The late Akoto Ampao was tipped to be the next special prosecutor following the passage of the Office of Special Prosecutor Bill. But as a graduate of the University of Ghana, LLB, 1973, and the Ghana School of Law, 1993, he dealt in commercial law, company law, industrial law, and litigation, amongst others. That leads us into business. Juliana Menuafol is here. What's the latest?
Well, Dr. Steve Mantiao is actually calling for value addition to lithium as Ghana has granted a 15-year mining license to Atlantic Lithium. We have the details.
Let's get into it now.
I should come here. Hello and welcome to the business segment on Hot Edition. My name is Menu Afo. In our first story, Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has granted a lithium mining license to Atlantic Lithium Limited as Ghana secures to leverage the multi-billion-dollar global industry. The 15-year mining lease is to enable the advancement of the Ewoya lithium project towards commercial production. The 15-year lease to Barari DV Ghana Limited, a subsidiary of the Sydney-based company, enables it to start constructing a lithium mine. This will be located at a 42.6-kilometer site at Ewoya in the central region. The company is expected to produce about 300,000 tons of the metal annually over a 12-year mine life. Policy analyst Dr. Steve Mantiao is of the view Ghana has to ensure the hard rock lithium is processed here for the country to benefit from the value chain.
In that case, you create more job opportunities downstream because there will be companies that are established. This company will employ Ghanaians. So you are helping to solve unemployment. The company itself will pay corporate income tax, and then the workers will pay personal income tax. So you are mobilizing additional tax revenue downstream to be able to finance your development. Currently, we are exporting manganese in its raw form, okay? When we are clear in our minds that we need manganese to be able to develop our integrated iron and steel industry.
Policy analyst Dr. Steve Mantiao there. To more stories, at Akosombo and Sugakope, a tale of concern unfolds among local hotels. The culprit, Dams Village, and its surprising impact on the operations. Customer demand has declined, leaving hotels puzzled. Michael Ogbudu takes up the rest of the story.
What do you do when the forces of nature are against you? This is the dilemma 76-year-old owner of Alos Bay on the Akosombo stretch is battling with. Part of his facility has been submerged in water due to the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. Where we're standing right now is actually floating. If not, it would have been as submerged as the structures you see behind me. And according to the owner, in his over 30 years of running this facility, this is the first time something of this sort is happening.
You've been spilling year after year, but this one, I've never seen this one before. And I've never even imagined this before.
Empty chairs, not many people here. Manager of the facility says a lot of people have stopped coming, while others have cancelled their orders out of fear.
It's been kind of dull because people think it has flooded the whole place and then it's making business so dull. Even others are cancelling their reservations, saying the water has taken over all the place. Even when you try to explain to them, they still say no.
We are now at the Afrikiko Riverfront, another facility that has been impacted by the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. What you see here used to be a walkway, but all has been submerged in water with tapes like this around the facility to protect people from getting caught up in it. But interestingly, what you see here is an improvement from the situation earlier last week.
Oh, today is better. It's very, very better because formerly it was even about to take our restaurant. Yes, it was very, very high. That's what you see today, at least, is better. We've lost a whole lot of businesses due to this thing.
We're now at Royal Senchi, and per our checks and interactions with some of the staff, it clearly shows everything is fine here, apart from a few activities they carry out on the river.
Luckily for us, as far as the structure is concerned, everything is intact. But as you can see, the activities we do on the river, boat cruise and water sports, is what has for now been put on hold, of course, because of the level of the water and the current going over the place.
The hospitality industry has been impacted by the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. But for many players, despite this, they still are able to offer majority of their services. Michael Obodu, 3 Business, Akosombo.
That was a report by my colleague Michael Ogbudu. That will be all for business news. My name is Menua Afo. We have sports coming up next. Do stay tuned.
Well, it's time for sports here on the Hot Edition. My name is Bill Lishen, and we're going to start off from the Ghana Premier League, where Real Tamale United defeated Accra Lions by 3-1 earlier today. RTU are now first on the Ghana Premier League log, and Accra Lions are currently 13th. Now let's look at the fixtures for the weekend in the Ghana Premier League. Hearts of Oak will be facing Samatex. Nations FC will host Asante Kotoko. Karela United will play against Bofo Kwatano. Dreams FC will be facing Mediama SC. Diana will be facing Great Olympics. And Strachaman will be facing Legon Cities. Bechem United will host Brekung Chelsea. And Bibiani Gold Stars will host Pando Heart of Lions. Now let's move on to African football, where Simba and Alali played out a 2-2 draw in their opening quarter-final game of the African Football League. Now here are the other quarter-final fixtures for you. Petro will be facing Mamelodi Sundowns, and Yimba will be facing Wydad, and TP Mazembe will be facing Esperance. To some other stories, former Chelsea defender Ryan Bertrand was lyrical about the work rate of Michael Essien. Now the pair played together in the club's first ever Champions League win in 2012.
Yeah, amazing person and a warrior on the pitch. They used to call him the Bison. So yeah, he'd be the friendliest guy, but then you don't want to get in a tackle with him, that's for sure. So but can't speak highly enough of him. As a player, absolute legendary career, and as a person, he's really amazing individual.
An amazing individual, according to Ryan Bertrand, the former Chelsea defender. Now let's move on to the Premier League, where Chelsea will be hosting Arsenal at the Stamford Bridge on Saturday. Chelsea coach Mauricio Pochettino and Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta had this to say ahead of the game.
We are very competitive, all the coaches. We are very competitive, and when you go to play against also if it's part of my family, we want to win and to destroy, the opponent. And yes, but it's going to be strange, but I think in some point I'm going to feel proud to see him and to compete with him.
Oh, that's the last experience, the last feeling that we had between us, and it was a beautiful one. You could sense in the atmosphere the importance of the game and the way we won it and how we competed against that team. But it's just a game, and now it's about having the consistency and keeping the standards very, very high, because the next game against Chelsea is going to be even harder.
That was Chelsea manager Mauricio Pochettino and then Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta. Now, before I do go, let me mention the fixtures in the Premier League for the weekend. Liverpool will be facing Everton in the Merseyside derby. Bournemouth will be facing Wolves. Brentford will be facing Burnley. Man City will be facing Brighton. Newcastle will face Crystal Palace. Nottingham Forest will face Luton. And Sheffield United will be facing Manchester United. That brings an end to the sports segment here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Bill Lishen, and up next is entertainment with Akofa standing by.
Thank you very much, Bill. You're still tuned in to Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. It's now time for the entertainment news segment powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Akofa. Musical President-elect Bessa Simon says his administration will be transparent and more accountable to members. The veteran musician told TV3 that his administration will also embark on a membership drive to attract A-list artists and capture other lesser-known musicians as part of a one-year roadmap to rebuild the musician's body.
Like I said, during my campaign, we need to be extra more transparent.
Yes.
So that we get the good things that we do out there before the hearsay people come in.
Mm-hmm.
And that is exactly what I'm going to be working on. We're going to try and unite musicians.
Okay.
We're going to be more accountable.
Yeah.
The other one is we are going to strengthen the regions because they are our wings. And another thing is we are also not only dealing with the regions will now go to the districts.
Mm-hmm.
We want to get all the local musicians. Our membership drive is going to be so intentional. And we need the A-list artists. So we can, as I speak, Ochami is a member, Kofi Kinata, Samini, Blacko.
Okay, he's a member. Is Shatawale a member? Sarkodie, Stone Boy, are they members? Do they pay their dues?
No, they are not members yet, but we are going to go to them. Like Mohammed went to the mountain. And we're also working with statistical services because we have to have every musician captured under our umbrella. And we are collecting a lot of data that I'm sure come January, February, we'll put it out there. People will see that, hey, if you're a brass band player, you are a musician. Even if you play kete at the Ahimfie, you are.
Have they all been represented duly by Musica?
That's what I'm saying. We are going. It's part of
so you're
the
now
1 year roadmap.
You had Musica President-elect Bessa Simons there speaking with Bella Mundi. Now to my final story. The Adenta High Court on Thursday, October 19, adjourned the case of the Cruise People Limited and Black Sheriff until November 16, 2023, instructing both parties to submit their legal arguments by November 2, 2023. Cruise People Limited had engaged Black Sheriff's management for a performance at the musical cruise event event Afro Cruise Jam, scheduled for August 19, 2023 in Greece, of which they paid an initial deposit of $20,000 to Black Sheriff, expecting a video confirmation of his participation. However, Black Sheriff failed to provide the promised video, leading to the cancellation of cabins on the cruise ship and an altered media encounter arrangement. Unsuccessful attempts at an amicable resolution resulted in Cruise People Limited taking legal action against Black Sheriff, alleging a breach of contract. We'll keep you updated on any new developments on this story. And that's how we end the entertainment news segment here on Hot Edition, powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Akofa. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for tuning in. Keep your dial locked on 3FM 92.7. 3FM Drive team will be continuing with some music after this. And let's just do a quick run through on Twitter, which is former X, which is formerly Twitter. You find conversations on Lupita Nyong'o. That's because she shared on Instagram, actually, and then it found its way onto X. She has shared that she has gone through a heartbreak, and you find people reacting to that, especially because she made her relationship very open on social media, where both parties were celebrating themselves on the timelines. And so people do believe that, well, since the relationship is no longer working, it was sort of appropriate for them to come talk about it on social media. Well, at this instance, or in this instance, Lupita has talked about it, and we're waiting on the partner. Well, people are waiting on the partner to also share his sentiments. We have movie director Ava DuVernay also coming through to share some messages of encouragement to Lupita Nyong'o. So you might want to check it out as well. Also, for more news, log on to 3news.com. Thank you very much for joining us.